Hello, welcome to the Upland Forum where we highlight local stories, celebrate community impact, and spark the conversations that matter here in our city. Tonight, we're raising a glass to a local flavor and entrepreneurship as we welcome Seth Pearce, the mastermind behind the Stout House, one of Upland's rising stars in the craft beer scene. Seth isn't just it's not just brewing beer, he's brewing connections, he's brewing creativity and a strong sense of local pride. So, whether you're a business owner, a craft beer enthusiast, or someone who simply believes in supporting local folks, this episode is for you. So, make sure that you share it. Pour yourself something cold. More importantly, pour yourself something from the Stout House. And what do you say we bring up Seth? How you doing? Oh, hang on. There you go. Your mic was muted. How you doing,
Doing
Seth?
good.
Welcome.
How are you doing, Carlos? Good evening to you.
I'm doing fantastic, man. This has been long overdue, right? For sure.
Yeah. Always looking forward to the opportunity to chat with you.
No, absolutely. And folks, I will tell you that Seth is one of those individuals who I got to know before actually he opened the Stout House, and there's a story behind that too. So we'll get to that in a moment. But I wanted to make sure that we brought Seth on here because I want him to share his story, right? One of the questions that I have for you is just tell us the story behind the Stout House. Like, how did this dream start for you?
Wow, that's kind of a convoluted path. So let's see. I've been brewing beer for a long time, well over 20 years. And so I've enjoyed it very much. When I first started doing it, I wasn't very good at it, just brewing on a home level. I had the opportunity to work with some couple different brew clubs, had some different members and mentors that were really, really talented, including one buddy who was a guest brewer at full-size breweries. And so being able to kick around that environment, see what it was about, was very interested in it. I have a background in construction and engineering, so the very technical nature of it was always appealing to me, and I just liked making my own product. And slowly but surely over the decades, I kind of refined things that I like and I don't like, and got really good at it. And so I thought, what would be the right thing to do but to open up a brewery. And so that's where it went from there. So, and let's see, about 2013, I got the hair to do something on my own and build something that I could have as my own business. I'd had contracting businesses and engineering businesses through the years, and so I wanted to open up something new. And that from that, the Stout House was born. At first, the original development of it was a brewery here in Upland called Whitewater Brewers. Never opened the doors to the public, but did a lot of PR. Got a little frustrated with the branding. Didn't like it. I felt like every brewery on earth has an adjective and a noun that it's
Right.
kind of randomly assembled into the name of the company, and I wanted something kind of a little different. And as I thought about it, I really wanted to kind of build something that was niche and specialized. And I've always liked stouts. And so from that, kind of had the brainstorm and played around with some naming conventions. And then from that, the Stout House was born. So that's how it all started.
But you've actually started this, and I remember the first time I ever met you was actually at an event. Mm-hmm. And it's the first time, and I'm going to tell you to this day, folks, I am still hooked on your coffee beer and your chocolate beer because that was the first time I ever tasted. I'm like, what is this? And all of a sudden, I was hooked.
That's what I'm drinking right now. This is our coffee stout right now.
Folks, if you haven't tried it, it's addicting. It's really good. But that's how we originally met. I know you had plans to open here in Upland for a while, and then there were some issues with things, but you've stuck to it, man. I mean, there was no way that you were not going to open this. And I think on top of that, we threw COVID into the mix, with all of that. But you've been, as far as I can remember, dude, and I know you this personally, you don't give up. You set your mind to something and you're going to do it and you follow through with it. And this, again, why we are fortunate to have the Stout House here in Upland.
Yeah, I like what we do. We're very small business oriented. We partner with a lot of other small businesses. I mean, not only on our distribution level, we're distributing to quite a few of our local restaurants and bars, all small businesses, which I just think is really, really nice. But we also do a lot with a lot of small restaurant entrepreneurs that are starting up to kind of give them their start and get them some audience and cross promote them and things like that. We do a lot for charity. We run a weekly soccer charity where we go out and we collect donations and we support the community. And we've been open for most of a decade, but it feels like it's just been a flash in the pan. I forget the final count, but last count last year, sometime we had supported over 7 dozen different charities here locally. And in the last year, we have another 10 or so charities that we've done a lot with, both raising money for. We sponsored events at our location. We've gone out and supported their type of fundraising events. And it's just good people and very community oriented. And that's what we're trying to be about. We're trying to give back and be part of something that's bigger than ourselves and be part of the community. And so we really, in the spirit of not only kind of the school of hard knocks it took us to get our doors open, we appreciate what everybody is going through to do that and want to support them in doing that, as well as, once they get their doors open and so forth. So.
And that's the other thing, man, that also, since I've known you too, it's never been about you. It's never been about what you're going to get to or accomplish and so forth. And the fact that you talked about entrepreneurships, we know it's a Stout House, it's a brewery place. You don't really have a full restaurant, but you give opportunities to folks to come in. I know you've had like burger nights, different taco nights, different folks that are usually cooking outside to complement the beers that you have on that. But talk about that opportunity, because not a lot of people will do that. Give folks to also other businesses that opportunity to collaborate or do something together. It's a win-win both, all the way around.
So yeah, personally, I'm a foodie. I love to eat. And so whenever I'm enjoying a beer, I always want to have something good to eat with it. And I will always have enjoyed how the different styles of beers play off all the different flavors of the different styles of food. Always found that very interesting. So as I went to stand up the business, it was important to me to kind of find avenues to let some of our guests that come into our tap room, experience that same thing. Fortunately, my taproom manager, Josh, I think some of your viewers might have met him. He's kind of the face there. He's there a lot of the time. He's a foodie like me. And so between himself and me, I feel like, at any given night here in Upland, sometimes we have some of the best food partners around. The best food is in, fairly small operation with, local business doing that. So we partner with a lot of different restaurants. Our criteria is we want to make sure that they're responsible and clean and serving quality food, that the flavors are there, that it works well with what we're offering to be paired. And it's things that are there to enhance the visit for all of our guests at our place. And we've done really well with that. We have quite the roster of partners, very good relationships with them. They're all become good friends. And everybody, they're always looking forward to who we have coming out to serve food, to enjoy with their beer next. And so it's a really nice little community we've kind of built.
And man, I don't think I've ever been to your place and had a bad food experience. I mean, you get some quality folks there, man. Everything I've had there so far, I'm like, okay, I got to stay away because I got to hit the gym a lot harder every time I visit you. But it's great food and great beer. Let me switch my head.
Good people. They're all great people.
Absolutely. It's like this little crew of folks that are just there to mingle, have a good time. They're very welcoming. So you feel like you walk into your little clubhouse, basically. You know what I mean? For lack of a better example, So it's definitely a great vibe you have created, man, for sure.
That's only partly my doing. I mean, most of the thanks goes to, I've been very lucky in finding some really good partners in the staff that work at the Stout House. Josh, a big shout out to him. He holds down the fort. He does so much there to coordinate things, and Jen and Lorraine and Laura. I just have a great crew all the way around. So I couldn't do it without them, and I'd be amiss if I didn't kind of give the nod to them.
I will tell you, I was scrambling trying to look for my shirt, because if you don't know, he also carries merchandise, and I have my God Stout shirt. So I wanted to wear that for tonight's show, but you guys need to pick one up as well too.
Yeah, we got lots of good stuff. We got sweatshirts, hats. It's getting to be hot, warm season, so We got some classic styled tank tops, kind of styled off like 80 retro look. They crack me up every time I look at them, but they definitely work well for the warm weather. You got to come in next time. I'll get you fit up with one of those too.
All right. So thank you. I'm going to have you switch now to put on your business hat. Now, we talked about the Stout House. This is still part of your business, but as people are watching, there's obviously folks that want to look into starting their own business, right? Tell us a little bit about what have been some of your biggest wins and challenges as a local business owner.
Well, that's a good question, Carlos. So, yeah, I think as a small business owner, I think what it is, first and foremost, wrapping your head around the fact that you've got to find the right balance of the art and the science. A lot of folks go into it passionately, myself included, but I was well aware of the commitment that it is a business. It's not a hobby. It's not a game. And in order for it to succeed and to warrant doing right by the customers and doing right by the business, you got to have a good plan. So I think really studying, the market and the location and those different things, talking to a lot of peers, small businesses are really good because they're usually very proud of what they've done. And so they're happy to kind of talk about their successes and their trip ups and things like that. And so, standing up the Stout House, I was fortunate to talk with all the local brewery owners. They were very, outgoing and very forthcoming with, here's what's hard, here's what's easy, here's what to expect for audience, things like that. Focusing on brand, is critical. I think your reputation is everything. It's something that takes years to build, and it's a very important thing. So giving some consideration for what lays ahead and how to kind of succeed in that. That's something that business owners figure out, but I don't know if they necessarily kind of plan for it. And that's definitely a big, important part of it. Looking for a business friendly city. I worked with a lot of cities, potentially cite this business from Pomona to Montclair to Claremont to Rancho to Ontario. My hometown is here in Upland, so it was always kind of the favorite for me. Not only is it closer, but I wanted to support my local community. And so what I found is a very friendly business environment here in Upland, generally speaking. And so I think that's a critical thing for small businesses, that they can kind of be in an environment and in a location where they're not going to be fighting kind of an uphill battle kind of thing. So I think a lot of those things are part and parcel of it. I think, the shortcut to my advice is anytime you think you're going to be able to get something done, plan on not taking 3 times as long and costing twice as much. That's kind of a good way to budget and time frame to keep, scope creep that inherently happens in any type of undertaking, from just taking your knees out from underneath you by overcommitting. Kind of helps you be conservative, because it's always easier to run towards the ball than it is to back up and catch it, type of thing. And that's true with business as well. So, I talk with a lot of business owners that are burgeoning, and where the hesitation with them is just putting all the pieces together, because the complexities of the permitting and the taxes and the payroll and the staffing and the scheduling and all those administrative things are very overwhelming. And so it's hard to imagine what that's going to be like until you're into the fire. So some of the things I think business owners that are contemplating stepping off into something can do is talk with other small business owners of exactly what that is and how they get through it. And that'll definitely keep them from having to learn that the hard way.
I think a lot of folks too, man, they want to do great things, but they're also afraid of looking stupid, and they don't ask questions, right? So the reality is, the more questions you ask, the more knowledgeable you're going to be able to jump in with both feet, rather than, now what do I do, right? So now you're in a jam because you felt too embarrassed to ask somebody. And some of that mindset, I don't know everything, man. So I'm going to be the first one raising my hand saying, hey, how do I do this? Or how'd you do this to be able to get where you're at, for sure.
Well, we work really hard to maintain a good reputation and a good friendship with everybody in town. We helped our buddies over there at Pro5, gave them a lot of support as they stood up their operation, another great brewery here in Upland. We were really close with Rock House. We were upset to see them shut down, but they're working over there with last name in a good regard. And so we're just super excited to see our whole community here of our local brewers doing well and, continuing to grow and thrive, and that type of stuff. So it's all about just keeping your relationships and your network alive, and it'll come pay back for you when you need it.
So let me ask you this. So when people walk into the Stout House, right? What do you hope as an owner? What do you hope that they feel?
Well, we're the Stout House, and we have, and I think right now we have about 8 or 9 stouts on tap, but we also have dozens of other beers. We got 24 taps total. So what we work really hard to do is probably the smallest brewery in town is to have the biggest selection. It's all brewed in house. It's all very fresh, small batch stuff. It's a lot of work, and it's maybe not as efficient as it could be if we only had like 1 or 2 products, but we do that for our customers because we know that if they're going to come in and enjoy a pint with us for $7-8 versus going to the store and buying a beer for a couple bucks, the quality's got to be there. That's fundamental. But on top of that, it's got to be an environment. We want our guests to know that they're welcome there. We appreciate them. It's one of the few work environments where your relationship with your customer is a positive one. They're excited to be there, and you're excited to see them. Working in construction and engineering, that can be a little bit more contentious a lot of times, just by the nature of getting those kind of projects that I come from. So it's just it's really enjoyable to have them come in, and so that's what I want for them. I want them to come in. I want them to find a place that's comfortable with good beer, with good people, a place where they can kind of get away from all the other going-ons in life for a couple hours and hang out with us and want to come back. And anybody that comes in and doesn't feel that, I want to know too. One of the questions I ask a lot of people come in and for the first time and they enjoy stuff is, not only do I know how they liked it, but more importantly, I wanted to know, what did they not like? Was there a beer that didn't quite, fit their fancy, or was the music too loud, or was it too cold, or, all those different things. And it kind of goes back into a feedback loop so that we can, kind of craft the best environment we can as a pretty resource limited small business to get what you asked, which is what we want for our customers to experience.
And folks, I just put up there the address, so make sure you take notes of it, take a screenshot, make sure you visit the Stout House. And I'm going to give you the obvious questions I should have asked probably in the beginning. So this is, what's your personal favorite brew on tap right now and why?
Our triple stout right now is always my favorite. Sometimes when we have our German lagers during the fall season, I'll go to one of those just because I enjoy those so much. And those are very hard beers to brew and very, very nice. But yeah, here in the springtime, the big brother to the beer that I'm enjoying right now, this is our coffee stout, is our triple stout. And that's my go-to all the time. It's a pretty big beer. It's 8%, but man, it drinks smooth. You can enjoy a couple of them. And the great thing about it is we got a lot of people come in and they're like, well, I don't like stouts. And we give them a little taster of, 1 or 2 of them, sometimes throw that one in for a big, real full bodied stout. We're blown away by how many people are like, wow, this is really good. I never knew a stout could be this approachable. And so I enjoy to see people kind of experimenting and learning to enjoy, a beer that I very much do.
So, man, this has been a terrific, fantastic conversation. Huge thanks to you for sharing your journey, your passion, crafting beers, your heart for Upland. It's clear the Stout House isn't just serving beer, it's serving community, culture, and connections, man. So that's the kind of entrepreneurship that inspires us all. A lot of us business owners, what I asked you specifically about those folks starting out, it's a huge help coming from someone who's gone through the gamut, man. You've gone through the ups, to the downs. You know what it's like going through it, and I'm glad that there's folks like you who want to mentor that entrepreneurship spirit with those folks trying to just get their businesses off the ground, whether it's microbrewery or whatever business it is too. So if you haven't visited the Stout House yet, make it a point to stop by, grab a pint, and experience the atmosphere Seth and his team have built. Man, it's something really remarkable, something really special. Try the coffee beer, try the chocolate beer. I'm telling you, man, you cannot go wrong. And once you're hooked, you're hooked. Bottom line. And as always, thank you for tuning into the Upland Forum, where we bring you local voices to the forefront and keep the spotlight on the people who make our city thrive. So, Seth, any last parting words?
No, thank you for the discussion, Carlos. It's always good to talk with you. Thank everybody for tuning in.
Absolutely. And remember, if you're not following us, please do so at the Upland Forum, hashtag Upland Forum. If you are a business and you want to be part of the show as well and get featured, send me a message. I'd love to have you on here. So until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and remember, community always starts with conversation. Until next week, take care.